Our next question is from Professor Samina Yasmeen, who's a staff member in political science and international relations at UWA.
All questions come this side, not this side. Why? Okay.
Good morning, Your Holiness. This side is better than that side. But I'm sure they'll ask you questions too.
Okay.
I would like to draw your attention to what's happening internationally in politics with a lot of young people going from not just Australia but other countries into areas like Iraq and Syria. And so that's getting a lot of governments to start policies and strategies for controlling radicalization. So I know you're not a radical person, but in your opinion, Your Holiness, what is a better strategy to address the question of radicalization of youth in today's world? Through security legislation, or would you suggest some other means?
That's exactly as I mentioned earlier. You see, our existing education system, firstly, very much oriented about material value. In material field, moral, no connection. I think more material facility, more greed than exploitation, corruption. So now these people who grown up that kind of society, that kind of education, then easily manipulate. You see, on the basis of strong feeling or strong concept, we and they. Then, you see, because of very strong sort of feeling or concept of we and they, then sometimes their side, in order to eliminate other, they feel great thing. Destruction of your enemy is a victory of yourself. That's century-old thinking. Now that must change. Think humanity as a same human being. Then some concept, we and they, yes, it is, there. But, you see, they also human being. They also want happy life. They also have the right to live happily. So strong feeling that, then the concept of differences on the basis of religious faith or racial or nationality, that's secondary. So therefore, long run, we have to introduce some sort of, lesson in modern education system about moral principle. Now here, problem is all major world institutions have the moral principle, teaching of moral principle. Wonderful. But if we teach people which moral principle relying on religious belief, then on this planet, I think at least over 3,000 years, different religious belief there with different philosophical views. So then, what religion? Difficult. So therefore, in Indian Constitution, now, Indian Constitution is based on secular concept. Because India, 1,000 years, multi-religious nation. So the India's constitution for all Indian. Therefore, cannot sort of stress one religious faith. Now sometimes you see some sort of Hindu sort of say, some people say fundamentalist. And in a way, you see sometimes you see more emphasis on particular religion, then sometimes some difficulties you see develop. So therefore, because of that reality, the India's constitution based on secular. And according to Indian understanding, I think you know better. However, I spent now last 56 years in India as a refugee. One way, I'm longest guest of Indian government. So you see, at the last is a few decades, I learned through personal contact, right? Personal interaction, right? Like that. So therefore, according to Indian understanding about secular is respect all religions, all dharma. No preference, this dharma, and this religion, or that religion. And then some unique thing, according to Indian understanding. Secular also means respect non-believer. That's quite unique and very relevant to today's world. There's out of 7 billion human beings, over 1 billion non-believer. So we cannot sort of exclude these people. These also human beings must bring together as a human brothers, sisters. So the teaching or education about moral principle, if based on religion, then firstly these non-believer, they may not pay attention, not suitable to these people. And secondly, within the believer, there are, of course, I usually look all religions, all major religions, 3 aspects. One aspect of all major religions is message of love and practice love and forgiveness, tolerance, these things. That aspect, all major religious traditions, same. That is the basis to build real harmony on the basis of mutual admiration, mutual respect. The second aspect of all major religious traditions, philosophy. Here philosophy is concerned, big differences. Firstly, theistic religion, that means believe creator. Then non-theistic religion, it means no concept of creator, ourself as a creator. That's Jainism, Buddhism, one part of Sankhya philosophy. All these 3, all are Indian ancient tradition. So, no belief, right? No belief, creator. Then within the theistic religion, there are differences. Islam, one God, Allah. Christian, Trinity. There are some slight differences. Judaism, I don't know. Although I have a lot of sort of Jewish friends, many. I do not know his detail. As well as Zoroastrian, also I have some friend, but I do not know detail like that. So in any way, so philosophical views, and then within the non-theistic religion, Jainism, Buddhism, Sankhyaism, the Sankhya, Jain, both accept independent self or soul, theory of soul. Indian language, Atma. Only Buddhism do not believe that. Anatma. Do you heard 2 concepts, Atma and Anatma? Have you heard? your mind, which philosophical view more closer? Atma. Good. So philosophical views, there are many differences. But then we have to ask or raise question, what's the purpose of these different philosophy? Same purpose, to strengthening concept of love or conviction about importance of love. Use different philosophy. So, different philosophy, useful to variety of people. So, and different circumstances, different sort of environment. I think Zoroastrian, Christianity, Judaism, Islam from Arab side. And then the Sangha, Jain, Buddhist from India. So it's in different circumstances, different environment. So at least it is some differences of mental disposition. So these different philosophy come. But all carry same teaching, teaching of love. Okay. Then third aspect, that's cultural heritage. So that also is very much related with the existing sort of environment, sort of situation. Some of my Indian friend told me, at the time, Mahavira, the Jain as a founder, Jainism founder, come. At that period, too many animal slaughter, animal sacrifice in the name of worship. It's a god or something. So then Jainism come, start, particular emphasis, non-violence, and completely stop animal sacrifice. So the existing environment also, you see, makes some impact way, the religious thing. Then I feel in Quran, the Sharia law, more sort of what's because of the details of it. That also, at that time, when Muhammad, you see, his period, I think people more or less know it. No proper law, a lot of criminals, crimes. So, according to that circumstances, in his teaching, special emphasis about law, the Sharia law, in order to counter these violent sort of crimes. Okay. So 3 parts. So therefore, the Indian sort of understanding about secular, I think that's very, very relevant to today's world. Therefore, with many my friends, scientists, educationists, mainly come from America, see, we fully committed promotion of inner value through secular way. Okay. So long run, I think our education, you see, should include education about warm-heartedness or compassion, mainly, you see, based on scientific findings and our common experience and common sense. I think we can do that. Already, some American scientists and educationists, and also in British Columbia, in Western Canada, they already, you see, involved, carrying these sort of, work. As a matter of fact, British Columbia, on the state level, they sort of formalize in all school within the British Columbia state. You see, all schools should include some sort of teaching, moral teaching, based on secular way.
Thank
So I feel that's the only way. Otherwise, you see, they're shooting and shooting back. I don't think that go like circle continuously. Okay.
I'm going to get a lot
Then,
of
then
trouble
also
if we
I
have
think
another question.
I always is expressing once my mouth open, then one of my weakness is blah 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 blah.
Thank you.
So you know, it's quite clear. Muslim of India, Muslim in Indonesia, Malaysia, and Jordan, and some other sort of Arab country. Same follower of Islam. But because of the cultural heritage, because of the circumstances, now India basically sort of Hindu nation. But all major religious traditions live together. Large number of Christians, large number of Muslims, and among the Muslims, Shia and Sunni, no record fighting between Shia and Sunni and some other tradition. Pakistan, Muslim country, lot of problem. Bangladesh, Muslim country, lot of problem. Sri Lanka, Buddhist country, some problem. So India, the most populated democratic country, a lot of problems. Sometimes in the street, a problem also created by cows. but a lot of problem. But it is still comparatively much more peaceful, isn't it? So cultural heritage really makes differences. Okay.
Perfect. I'd now like to invite Dr. Sue Boyd to present a vote of thanks from the university community.
Okay.
Sue has a long relationship with UWA and was the first woman to be president of the UWA Student
few
Guild.
questions I this side. Otherwise, northerner and the southerner may have complained. So some questions.
If you'd like,
I think two questions from this side. I think I prefer, you see, each kasura, the section. I prefer one question. The main thing, my responsibility, short answer.
Good morning, Your Holiness. The question I was wanting to ask is, in this day and age, how would you view, what are your opinions on overpopulation and material possessions on stuff?
Population now, I think beyond our control. According some people or some report, they say this moment 7 billion human beings. When I first come to India, then 6 billion. Now last few decades, now already reached 7 billion. Now within this century, end of this century, human population will reach 10 billions. Now the serious thing is the gap rich to poor. This must tackle. So then poorer section of people, their living standard uplift higher. So then there are a lot of problems. The natural resources. So it is quite complicated thing. However, I think with the help of science and technology and use solar power, the other day also, as I mentioned, since many years, this Australia, huge land. You see, in the center, in the much portion of just wasteland. Use solar because of solar energy, and then plantation. Actually, day before yesterday, when I sort of meet with the people, I suggest to them, you see, firstly, some vegetable garden should start, and then some corns and some other sort of agriculture work should start, and then some fruit tree. So I mentioned. So then the question of sufficient water. Now all side of Australia, the sea there. So now question is the sea salty water transform kasachuti.
Desalination.
Desalination.
You could, turn the seawater into drinkable water, desalination.
There is technology. So then, you see, build more factory which that
Desalination.
word, I don't know.
Desalination.
Yes, or that. Then you see, you can, actually, we'll make plenty of seawater into this sweet water. Then, I think, many years ago, one occasion in Australia, I expressed there should be some kind of a program or plan. All sides of Australia, each decade, a few hundred square kilometer, and cultivate and plantation like that. And then Sahara, quite big sort of land, desert, a lot of sort of solar power. I saw on BBC sort of a documentary film, and some area, some country in Africa, you see each family, each community use solar power and electricity. That's small scale, but large scale. I think, you see, we have the technology. I think it is quite clear. I think instead of spend a lot of money for making weapon, I think should spend more money, such sort of program. So eventually, I think our world should be on the basis of promotion of oneness of seven billion human beings. Then eventually, one time, one German minister many years ago expressed after you see European Union. This is not very stable now. Okay, now hold. So one the minister, you see, expressed in the spirit of European Union. I think that's the main reason. You see, he expressed now no need foreign ministry and a defense ministry. I think that's a wonderful sort of, beginning thinking. All your neighbor, just part of you. No need a foreign ministry. That means, you see, some artificial smile, or that we call diplomatic way. I think that too much diplomatic way create more suspicion, isn't it? And then defense, you see, no use defense. So eventually, our world should be demilitarized world. I think the young people, you see, should keep such sort of visions. Make an attempt. If not achieved, doesn't matter. Then we have no regret. If making no effort, then miserable world still continue. Then finally, when time of our death, we feel regret. Make attempt, fail, no regret. Isn't it? So like that. So good word, correct. So overpopulation, I think firstly, I think in up to a certain degree, birth control. Use rubber. Like that. I think real sort of sometimes this is some operation. That's something permanent. So I think too extreme. So best thing is rubber. Like
And
that.
on
Now
that
next
note,
question. Next question. From here. This group. Yes.
oh dear.
Yes, yes.
Good morning, Your Holiness. I believe that throughout life you should always be a student, that you should always be learning and trying to, realize that there's always something to be known that you don't know yet, or that there's always a new view that you don't have yet that might be better for you to sort of try and think about and adopt. But I also think that if I'm going to be spreading a message of peace, and if I'm going to be spreading those sort of ideas, I also need to learn to become a teacher in some way. What sort of advice do you have for being able to talk to other people and being able to spread that message of peace?
Mrs. Shandaya, could you just- So as I mentioned earlier, you see, an existing education system, not adequate. So eventually, some of our friends already, you see, making research, serious research and experiment, some kind of curriculum about moral principle entirely based on secular concept. So now here, teacher, very important. Teacher should not carry just a simple sort of what's the work to explain the sort of particular subject. No, you should sort of show the student real sort of actually the value of compassion. Then value of compassion, word, empty word will not sort of carry the real meaning. So the teacher should sort of implement the compassionate sort of action. When you're teaching, give teaching, keeps in your mind the responsibility, heavy responsibility to making happy life on that individual student. So you should carry that kind of sense of responsibility and accordingly teach. So sometimes in India, some of our sort of school, some teachers,
Some lady teachers actually, keep on knitting sweaters.
just a few explanations, but actually not much sort of serious concern about well-being of the student. It happened. Some Tibetan scholars also sometimes simply they show their sort of scholarship, not much sense of concern of their students. So I think teacher, I think should involve, the teaching of love or compassion, must implement, then more effect. I think when I'm getting some lesson with my teacher, with sort of affection or love or smile, that lesson goes very deep. Sometimes my teacher, a little bit sort of angry face, then that lesson not go inside. It really makes differences. Clear, like that. So that's my view. And then other day, I think Sydney, I have some sort of meeting some of the scholars. One lady, sort of expert or scholar, mentioned for body, effect for healthy body, just thinking about love, limited, but actually implement love, serving other people. That because of the active love really makes tremendous impact in our health. She mentioned that. That I learned first time. So like that. Then, now questions here. Oh, many questions now.
I'm going to get in a lot of trouble from your next event.
Thank you, Your Holiness.
Now he win. only one. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, as student leaders, we're often faced with the task of making difficult decisions, and sometimes what we think is right is different to what we feel is right. So, I was wondering if you could provide advice on how we sort of choose the right direction and whether we go what we think is right or what we feel is right.
가자. I think firstly, we should think according moral principle. Then second, practical or not. So before decision take, you should think seriously. And also, you see, take different views or suggestions from consult your friend. Usually I do that. Firstly, utilize one's own sort of intelligence because of the maximum way, analyze. Then, second, whether this can implement or not. Then, ask some opinions. And then, if necessary, consult people, some form of voting or majority. So that I believe that. But then you have to look case to case, like that. Difficult to generalize. Okay, last question now. This group. Now last question. No question. Oh, one there. There, Merum, there.
Thank you for the opportunity to ask a question. It seems in the modern world that fear and violence are as much a part of human nature as goodness and love. How do we take a step away, not in ourselves, but in convincing other people to avoid fear and violence?
Last over 30 years, I have serious discussion with scientists, mainly cosmology, neurobiology, and physics, particularly quantum physics. Really much interesting. Some of ancient Indian sort of concept. You see, about shunyata or patit samupad. Very similar that of quantum physics concept. Really very interesting. Raja Ramana, have you ever heard his name? The Indian nuclear physicist. His nickname, usually called India's Sakharov, who built India's nuclear weapon. Among the scientists, he was also there. So once he told me, quantum physics in the world is something new concept. In India, 2,000 years ago, already developed that concept. So physics, particularly quantum physics, then psychology. So result is a mutual benefit. We also get immense benefit. The scientists also have immense benefit. because it's a Buddhist knowledge about emotion, mind, very, very sort of detailed and very, very sort of vast. So very useful. So I usually describe ancient Indian psychology, knowledge about mind, emotion, or science of mind. It's highly developed. You see, judging last, few decades of experience, it becomes quite clear. The modern psychology, compare Indian ancient psychology and modern psychology, looks like kindergarten level. Ancient Indian psychology, highly developed, highly developed. So in any way, so from time to time, some discussion with scientists. Then, like Richard Davidson, well-known scientist, brain specialist, so they carry some experiment. What's human basic nature? The conclusion is basic human nature is more compassionate. So as I mentioned earlier, anger is part of our life, but dominant sort of emotion, whole our life, is compassion, affection, kindness. So that's scientific, sort of scientifically proved that. So that's my answer. So I think wrong, your view, modern human beings, nature is more violence or more anger, is a wrong view. Thank you.
Perfect.
I think now question answer end with wrong view. Good.
And I would. And I'd now like to invite Sue Boyd to present the vote of thanks.
Your Holiness, it's my honour to be invited to offer the vote of thanks to you for your extraordinary amount of time you spent with us today and the wisdom you've shared with us. We at the University of Western Australia are proud to host such an eminent person as yourself to reflect on the hugely important and fundamental question of education. And all of us in this room today are all involved with education. The Guild of Students, the Guild of Undergraduates, which has hosted this meeting today, their wisdom, well done, in inviting all the schools to send people to be here with us today, all of us to have the opportunity to learn from you and to have an experience which may change our lives. Many of the things you've said are of fundamental importance to us, but I think what the message we take away with us is the challenge you have given us, that we are the people of the 21st century, and it's our responsibility to fix the problems. I thought my makeup was better than that. I'm speaking on behalf of the audience as a whole, Your Holiness. So we take the challenge. We take the challenge. And we also, I have to say, take encouragement from your confession that you were a bad student to start with. We can see that one can grow and learn and use the fundamental tools and the fundamental convictions of passion and compassion and humanity that you've shared with us today. Thank you so much. Thank you.